Okay. So hi. This is the second session. Yeah. Hi. A lot of you are quite enthusiastic of being here. That's really cool. So today we are at the college fair of Siege, and we're going to have we're going to create a small game, right? So in the previous session, I kind of like run off time, so I'm going to be really strict with this one to give you time to have questions at the end, and to show you a full game. Okay. So let's see. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There you go. So supposedly it's recording and it's streaming, and someone may or may not see it. The previous session we had like 36 people watching. I don't know where. I saw like someone from Russia. Whatever. First welcome. My name is Diego Lizarazo. Just call me Diego, like the city, San Diego. It's spelled exactly the same. You can say it exactly the same. You don't have to call my last name. I work currently with Red Hat. So Linux, perhaps you have heard of that, a Linux company. Work with a division there that they do things with cloud computing. So it's called OpenShift. If you see there my title, that is technology advocate. The entire part of advocate is that I connect with the community. I do things online and manage their website, their blog, and I do things with Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all the social networks that you can imagine basically all day long, and that's why I'm periscoping this thing, because, social. Before that, I worked with Microsoft. Before that, I worked with GameStop. Before that, I worked in Spain with a game company as a game designer, so hence I'm here, trying to use some of that. I have a degree on game design and programming. Before that, I've done other things, so I'm not going to bother you with that. I quite guess that you're here because you like games, right?
Yes.
Or someone forced you. Sorry about that. So I hope no one forced you. So it may happen. Who has tried before to create a video game? Okay, some of you. So someone has passed the stage of having an idea, because that's the first thing that you have. Like, oh, it would be really cool if Mario Bros is doing this. What if I don't know, we have something different than a Street Fighters, and I'm going to kind of just call it a Planet Fighters. I don't know, something like that. It could be like anything that you can come up with. And then you have to actually create a game. So has any of you have tried to really create a game? No? Okay. So hopefully after today, we're going to have the tools and a little bit of knowledge to try to create that at home. Okay? Here you have my blog, geekego.com, my Twitter. So if at the end you have questions, you can send them there. Well, if you cannot do it here, or if the question pops tomorrow in your head, whatever. I have my YouTube channel, game templates that you can use for free, and tons of other things that you can do. So I'm going to show this at the end too. So what I'm going to be using today, I'm going to put it here. Yeah. That's the one I'm going to show you at the end. Don't worry, actually we're going to get to that. That's something that you can create too. So the tool that we're going to use today is called Construct 2. Okay, that's the name. And you can download it from the link that you see in the middle, like Sierra. Never known if it's really Sierra or Skira. I've heard people saying both, so always confused. There are two guys that had this idea, they're brothers, and they live in the UK, and they say like, hey, we want to create like a game engine. And then they start creating Construct 2. Right now they're creating Construct 3. That is going to be a little bit more advanced and has other changes. So if you go to the page, come here, and you see that there are two big buttons here, buy now or free download. If it's your free game, just go for the free download, learn how to use it, you don't have to pay right away. You have more features on the paid version, but really for most of the games that you can do at first, you don't really need them, so don't pay for that. It's around $100. It changes. Sometimes if you go to Steam, they have sales, and I've seen people that have paid something like $30 and still get it. So, but you have to pay attention when it happens. After you download the free version, we have here, you can see something like this. This is the program. I already downloaded it. I have the paid version, but you can start creating games. So first, I'm going to show you like 2 small examples, and then we're going to create our own game. Okay, that's the entire idea. I'm going to try to pump you up. Who likes Adventure Time? Okay, so I'm going to use Finn. Okay, so you already know where we're going, at least. So at least you're going to pay attention until I use Finn. I don't know after that you're going to pay attention. So first I'm going to create just one small game. I usually try to start with this one because it's so simple and because you can time it in how long it takes me to create it, okay? And I'm going to talk at the same time, so quite likely it's going to take me 1 more minute than it should since I start. You come here and you say, or File, New, or if it's the first time, you can go here and say this entire menu in the middle appears, and also you say New Project. And the one that I am going to create, I'm not even going to tell you the name because it's going to be quite visible. So I'm just going to type. You have a long list here in Concert 2. Whenever you have a list, you have a search box. Don't read too much into that. I'm going to run it, and that's my game. So it took me, what, 2 minutes? That's already the game. Which game is this? You have Angry Birds right there. So, well, a little lame. I'm going to do it again. That's shot. You can use your mouse, or you can use, in this case, I also had my touch screen. So the important part about the touch screen is that then it means that you can use it also for your phone. So all these games that we're going to create here, you can publish them in a website. You can do something else. It takes a little bit of work, but it's not complicated. I know because I've done it. You can also publish it for an Android phone, for iOS. You can put it in Windows Phone, like, well, web. The one that I'm going to show you, since I work with Red Hat, is how to put it online, like on a website, an example. But this is what you can do. You already have a level there, okay? And I don't know, these people are British, so they have a weird sense of humor. So let's suppose that I don't want this bearded lady here instead of the pigs. I want, yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, whatever. Let's suppose that I want to try something else, so I can use this to eraser. Supposedly, I'm just going to do that. And I can create masterpiece. You know, modernism and all that. And as soon as I do that, I can go back here and I have my little animation right there. So you see how simple it is to create something and then to modify it and to try it. So I can make changes. Like, let's suppose that I don't like this background, that this is a ground log, so quite like this here. So I don't like this color. I'm going to go for something quite jarring, like something red. No, it's too bad. I don't know, something different, so at least you believe me that I was not lying. Okay, this green is also horrible, but whatever. You can see it that I'm not lying. So I just make a couple of clicks here and there, and you already change your game. So I'm going to show you a couple more to get you excited, and then we create ours. This project, save. So this one, I'm just going to go for one more. Have you ever played Mario Galaxy?
Yes.
Okay. So this is 2D. No one asked me that. This is more like for 2D games. I have done some 3D things here, but it's more like a trick. But still, it's more like thought for 3D. So imagine that this is kind of like a 2D version of Mario Galaxy. So, and again, our character is quite lame. So let's suppose that I just say new, and since I know that it's going to be sideways, I'm going to do my little friend here.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, it's missing the legs. Somehow he doesn't have legs. But the cool thing is that you already have something that is able to jump all around. But in this case, you can tell that the gravity is not working how you would expect because it's rotating the entire world. And it's because the scenario is a spiral like this, and gravity is pointing towards that symbol that is in the middle. Okay? So if I keep going, you're going to get at some point to the center of this spiral, well, you can see it right there. And then when I touch it, it restarts. So it's quite simple to change that, and well, I can change also like the graphics however I want. But the previous session, it took me too long to show these examples. I think the really cool part is when we create our own game. I do have an idea of what I want, but of course you can go home, you can download this program, or you can do it at, I don't know if in your schools you have permission to download it. So if you do it, don't blame me. But quite likely you can take any computer. There's a Windows computer, unfortunately, and the next version is going also to be a Mac or a Linux computer, and then you can create this. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is to just say new project, new empty project. I want something from 0, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And quite likely you do have still good eyes. You don't need this. Or not everyone. Sorry for the ones that do need it. No, it's a total burden, so I have to use them. You see this white canvas that we have here, right? So that thing is your word. That's your level. That's your game word. Okay? And now, do you see this dotted line that we have here, like this little rectangle here in the corner? Do you see it? Okay. So that's basically what is going to appear on the screen, on the camera. So imagine a game like Mario Bros, the old ones, 2D. If you think about them, they were like really wide levels. You just kept going and going and going and going. But at the time, you were just only seeing a little piece of that world. So it's almost like you had a camera that is moving with you, right? Yeah. So this is exactly what is happening. Right now, it's telling you this is the piece that at first is going to appear on camera, but all this white space is your world. So you can move it around, okay? So we're going to work with that, and hopefully we're going to make it work. Now, what time do you think it is? Adventure time, of course. So what I'm going to do is, first, I am going to create my stick figure. And after that, we're going to change it to thing. So how many of you have ever heard of sprites? How many of you have ever heard of sprites that are not the magical things that live in the forest? Okay, some of you. That's cool. So for everyone else, basically a sprite on game, it's when you have an object, a character, something that has a visual representation on the screen. So Mario Bros, he is a sprite. He has an animation that is moving around, and it's kind of like a piece of logic. So that's a sprite. I don't know why they call it sprite. It's called a sprite. In case that you're reading about gaming, quite likely you're going to find that. So here, to add something to your game, you just double click. You have this long list, and somewhere is a sprite. I know that it's here. Since I want to use the search list, I'm going to type sprite. Of course, if I type it correctly. You have a sprite. You can decide where you're going to put it. And then in this first case, I'm going to do my masterpiece. And yes, it's always going to be red. It doesn't really matter. So now it's there. So what do I do with it? To try your game, the only thing that you have to do is just to press here, where it says Run Layout. That is going to open a browser in your computer to show what you have there. Okay? So that's also the other thing that you're going to need. So you're going to need a Windows computer. You're going to need the program, Construct 2, and having a browser installed. I think right now it's kind of hard to find a computer without a browser, but hey, you need Explorer or Chrome or Firefox or Safari, Opera. You need something that you can use to search the internet. And this is what it's going to show you. Right now, it's quite a sad game. So first things that I noticed, well, obviously my stick figure is almost headless. Second, it's really big. And third thing, well, I cannot do anything. I press keys, I move my mouse, and it's just standing there. So let's start changing those things. So first thing, I'm going to make my character smaller. To do that, you just kind of like drag it here in one of the corners and give it kind of like the shape that you want. So let's say something like that. Let's see if it's better. Decent. Now I want to make it move around. Okay? So to do that, I'm going to introduce you to one cool thing that comes with Construct 2 that is called behaviors. if you pick something on construct, like in this case the sprite, on the left side, in this left pane, you're going to say see the properties. And one of those properties is the behaviors you have here. This one does not have any properties. We start from 0, so I can add 1. And the one that I'm looking for is this one that says a direction. So now if I play it, I'm going to sit for this, is that you can use your keyboard and it's already going to be able to move around. Now we have another problem. Yes, I realize when it turns, also kind of like put it up and down, and that's not what I want, okay? So let's change that. Let's go to the behaviors again. You can see that now we have the A direction. And it says that the set angle is 360. So I want to say no. I'm just doing that. It's going to be able to move around without doing that thing. Okay, so it looks better. Yeah, it's too complicated to use, so what it was doing, so now it's not doing. More clear, impossible. So now, I promised you that we were going to use Fin, and we have a stick figure. This is kind of like unfair, right? So I'm going to show you, and I want to clarify. I looked online, and I found this image. And I'm going to use it only because it's for educational purposes. I do not have the permission from this artist or from the Adventure Time creators to use it. Okay, so this is important because I was in school and I know that it's really easy to just Google something and say like, I like this image or I like this text and I happily says it and it's really cool to copy things. Well, I only do these things when it's just to teach. Otherwise, I actually create my own art or find things that are for free that are made online. This this page, opengamehour.org. You find tons of things that are free and that you can use without permission or anything. So please do that. So I use this image, I downloaded it, and then I cut this piece of Fin, only this animation, to have like these 4 animations. And that's the one that I'm going to use. So I'm going to double click, and I know that that one has animations. It has 4 animations going up, right, up, down, left, and right. So what I'm going to do is right-click on the animations that are down here. I'm going to say import frames from sprite strip. And I know that the name of this thing is Fin. You can see it here. So it's a little grid that is 3 by 4. And it's important that I know how much it is because it's going to ask me. So construct 2 is going to divide that image, cut it into pieces, and to get the individual ones that we have there. So if I do something wrong, like 12 by 12, then it's going to cut like a smaller pieces, so that's not what I want. If I do it right, it's going to have this. I can delete my stick figure. I can close it. Now Fin is too small. A little bigger. And I can run. It's moving around. But the only problem that, well, there are 2 problems that we have here. First one is that the animations are mixed. Second one is that the animation stops at some point. I would like it to have it in a loop. And second, after it stops or whatever, it doesn't really change with the direction of the movement. If I'm going up, this is the perfect animation, but if I'm going down or left, this is not. So I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to tell you kind of like a secret about engineers. I'm lazy, okay? So I like to think really hard the first time to do something, and after that, I just like to repeat the thing. So I like to come up with a solution, a good solution, and after that, I just repeat that. So that's how you come up with copy-paste. So what am I going to do? I already know that I have 4 animations there. So I'm going to copy-paste this animation 4 times. And after that, I am going to modify each animation. I told you, I was lazy. I was not going to like do this thing like 4 different times. No way. That's not me. So you have here and say duplicate, and this is going to say up, duplicate, and yes, I'm giving them names because it's going to be important later. Okay? And it's important that I name them somehow. So I'm going to say up, right, down, left. Now, in each one of them, I'm not going to explain, but you can see that I'm just going to keep the ones that I need. So in this one, this is not going up. This one now here, this is going down, so I'm just going to eliminate this. It's much easier to delete than to do other things. This is going right, this is here. I did it. Okay, so I'll do it. And left. I should have done that in the original one. I didn't say that the animation wanted to be in a loop, so I'm going to do it for all of them. And the default animation that I'm going to leave is just Finn standing. So when he's not doing anything, he's going to go by the default animation and he's just going to stand. That's the idea. Okay, but if I do this, now the default animation has only one animation that is standing and it's not going to do anything else. So I need somehow to figure out when he is moving left and when he's moving right to change the animation. That's when we're going to do two things. First one, I'm going to include another object. We already had one that is the sprite. I'm going to rename as Finn. I'm going to include another one that is going to be the keyword that I should have here. With the keyword, I can detect the keys from the keyboard. Okay? Now, so far we have only worked on this tab that you see here, the layout. I'm going to work here on the events. Yeah, you see that it's event something. I'm not going to say that word out loud because with my accent sounds like something different. So I am going to, yeah, look at the, so not the other one. Yeah, the other one. With accent it sounds different. Okay, and it's not even that I want to, but it's going to sound like that, okay? So, well, now, you have an event here, it's basically a question. And this is really important if at some point you take programming classes, or if you're going to learn about that, because this is going to be an if, then, else. So this is a question that you do in programming a lot. If something happens, do something. So, here, I'm going to say add event, and the question that I want to say is like, if the left key is pressed, I'm going to say the key is in the keyboard, so I press keyboard, and then I have options about the questions that I can make. This case is on key press. I click to choose, and I literally press the left key. So it says left arrow. Okay, done. So this is my question. Now, what is the action? Is to change the animation to the left animation, the animation that I need left. So I'm going to say add action. The animation belongs to Finn. I here look for animation that is called set animation, and it's going to ask me for a name. Remember that I told you that it was important to name them, so I know that it's left. Say done. So let's test this one. Right now, if I'm moving towards the right, towards down, it doesn't do anything. But then if I move left, it works. Of course, after doing that, it doesn't do anything because I haven't done the other directions. But since you already know me a little bit, what do you think I'm going to do with this?
Copy and paste.
Copy paste. And then I'm just going to modify this. So I'm going to say this is the up arrow, and then this is going to be the up animation. This is going to be the right arrow. This is going to be the right animation. This is going to be down. Okay, done. Down. Okay. Now, if I try this, it should work, mostly. I have it there. The only problem with this is because I put the animations in a loop, so it's not stopping, you know? So at some point I should say, so I'm not going to do it because it takes some time, but you get the idea. I would do something also to ask, like, hey, when it's stopping, then change. I know the direction that you were going, so then put this other animation. So that's it. So we have like 5 minutes or so. So I'm just going to do one more thing to kind of like create, and I'm going to do it really fast, to make it look like a small game. So I'm going to do another of my masterpieces. I'm going to put a sprite here. Yes, I could look for an image somewhere else, but yeah, that takes too long. I know that it looks like a cherry, but really, supposedly this is going to be a bomb. So let's make it something like that. Yes, this is quite abstract. You know, like it's not really what you think it is.
So ambitious.
You know, so something like this. So make it that. So what I'm going to do here is detect when thin touches the bomb. So this is called collision. Collision with another object. The object is this sprite that I should rename. I'm going to call it bomb. Then I'm going to destroy the bomb because somehow Finn is able to defuse it when he touches that. You're able to reach it. And then I'm going to give Finn some score. You know. So for that, I am going to add a variable that is going to be called the score. It starts at 0, and that's where I'm going to keep track of the score. Then first thing, I am going to add to that variable 100. So every time that he diffuses a bomb, he gets 100. But then if I don't do anything, there's nothing on the screen that shows me the score. So I'm going to put that. So I'm going to add a piece of text. And I'm going to say here score 0. This is going to be called the text, it doesn't matter. And then the last thing that I'm going to do here is to set the text to score equals, in this case it's not 0, but it's going to be ampersand score. That only works is get the value that I had in that variable, that could be 100, 200, 300, and put it there. So it's going to show it on the screen. So if I do this correctly, and move it around, it starts at 0, and then I just go here and change this to 100. Of course, it's only one bomb. What if I wanted many more bombs? First thing that I could do is to copy paste. In this case, it's not Control-C, Control-V. It's like Control, and then you drag things. Then you put it in whatever you want. And just because all of them are bombs, because all of them are already being detected by this collision here, it's not going to say like this particular bomb or that bomb. It's like any bomb works. So that means that if I touch this one, or that other one, or that other one, then it's going to be increasing. Okay? Now, if I have only like 6 bombs, it's not so fun. So what I'm going to do is like, what if every 2 seconds I create a new bomb that appears randomly? Okay? So I'm going to add another event. This one is on system. It's called every 8 seconds, every 2 seconds. I'm going to create a bomb. It's not 0, 0. If you remember from geometry, it's kind of like the origin. In this case, the origin is the upper left corner of the screen. So what I'm going to say is pick a number that is random for x, y. So 50, 500. And the same thing for the y coordinates. Yes, I'm copy-pasting. What do you think? So I'm going to just stand still, and at some point it's going to pop 1, and every 2 seconds it's going to pop another one randomly. I don't really have control of where it's going to appear. But all of them are bombs, so that means that if I touch the ones that I created originally, or the ones that are popping, like this one that is like out of the screen, it still is going to give me points for that. So at this point, you have the basics for a game. What else would I do with that if you're going to do this at home? I would just do some sort of game over. So like if you're not able to touch a bomb in every, well, I don't know, if the bomb stays there for like 5 seconds, if you're not able to defuse it, then it blows and then you lose a life or something like that. And then if your lives go to 0, then you put a game over. So this is something that would take me like 5 minutes to do, but I think we're almost like done with time, so I prefer to just ask, answer questions if you have any. If you don't, I can do the other part that I just mentioned. So, questions? Okay, yeah. Construct 2. And you can search for it directly, or just go to the page that is the second one, that is right there.
If you
Okay?
were able to get the game to look top notch, would you be able to sell it off of that program?
Yes and no. You can create games with the free version, and as long as they are free, that you give them away for free, you don't have to get the paid version. If you want to start selling them, then you have to pay $100. But after that, you can create as many games as you want. I think until you make like $2,000. And after that, you have to pay kind of like what they call an enterprise edition or something like that. That is kind of like $400 more. But at that point, that means that you already made $2,000, and you can continue using the game, the program, without paying anything else. So if you already make $2,000, you are being successful as a game maker.
You're making that money.
How well there? If you I don't know if you can say one of the sponsors for Siege is Joe. You may see him. He's a holy jolly guy that goes around here. He lives around the area. He started like making games that are his company's called Puzzles by Joe, and he basically makes a living out of that. So games that are and not even like owned like mobile games. You can ask him all about that, and he's going to talk your ear off for like half an hour, but you can learn a lot from him. So he has been doing that, and he's just an indie developer. He's not with a company. He is his own company, and he makes thousands of dollars a year out of his games. So the thing is that not everyone can be Angry Birds, but still a lot of people can make their own games. I'm going to show you one last thing to promote my company. So this is one example that I downloaded from Zera. They have forums and all that, so someone created this. So I'm going to show you locally. And this is what it does. So it's a laser, and you see that it goes in the same direction that the little circle that is there is shooting, and then it bounces 4 times, only 4 times, okay? And in all the objects that you have there. So I think that is a cool example, and on top of that, if you touch somewhere, it's going to change the direction that it's shooting to where you touch. Now, this is something that you can do, but what do you do afterwards? So one thing that you can do is to export your game, and you have many options. And you see here that you have, Cordova. With Cordova, you can do games for iOS, for Android, so you can put it on your phone, or you can do something like an HTML website. So that's what I did for this game, and I used my account in OpenShift, that is like what I work for, and this is the one that is right now online. Okay, so it's the same thing, but if you want to check it to see that I'm not lying, that it's actually online, you can go there, check it on your phone, and it should work. So Bit.ly Siege Fair, I created it just for this. And it's something that you can create for free on your computer, the game, and then for free with OpenShift, upload it, and host it there. And then you can modify the thing, and if you're really into programming, you can do even more things with that, and put scores, and make it really fancy or whatever. So you can go for that. Any more questions? No. Question? Yes. Let me see where I have them. Well, one of the simplest things that you can do with templates for that, it's moving, so perhaps I shouldn't make it move that much. This one, Bit.ly game templates. And that one should have something like 15 templates that you can download with Construct 2, and you can modify them. And they are full games. If not, let me see if I can find one here really quick. That it should be road like plugin. No, this is not many that are okay. This one. This is something that I was working with Microsoft before, so I published it for the Windows Store. So you should be able to see it here at some point. Well, it opens. It has tons of things, so it takes longer to. Just in case you wonder, all the images that I have here, I just modified them or something. So I'm just going to show you that, and Andrew's already telling me that we're done. So this is Robleg Alien. Basically, you start, you can move this little alien that you have here just to collect these candies. You can move it all around with your keyboard, or you have, if it's for a phone, because you can also do it, you can see this little thumbstick here. And the scenario that you have here, these trees, that obviously are not going to let me go across, is generated randomly. And it's important that it's across because the enemies are not able to see through. They have to see line of sight. They have to see you to start chasing you. And of course, if they touch you, then you die. And you have 60 seconds to pick all the little candies that are around. So it was a really simple demo that I published there. And in that link that I show you, you can download the template and start using it and make it like well cooler, change the graphics and make it more violent if you want. That's not my thing because you saw that I went for adventure time. So I think that's it. You have my information here. You can contact me on my blog or my Twitter if you have more questions, if you want to do a follow-up, if you forgot something, or if you just want to complain about the presentation, but I do hope that you like it. That's it. Okay. Let's see how this one went.